introductions. Let's, Gurleen, just in the interest of time, let's have quick round of introductions from everybody who has joined us new.
Yeah.
So just where you work and who introduced you to the session today. And by the way of what our topic is, we will get a detailed introduction today, so don't worry.
Great. So should I start quickly?
Yes, go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, so I've interacted with Gurleen on LinkedIn and Sakshi also on LinkedIn, but Sakshi invited me to this social library, right? Sakshi, that's the name, where I was a book and then people got to read me. So that was an interesting concept. In terms of what Shonali, you were saying, yes, people connect us. So I'm the founder of Ignited Neurons, where we do coaching and training for corporates. I have had 4 different careers over the last 15 years. So I don't know where I will be in the next 15 years. What brings me here is just the whole concept that you guys have created. So looking forward to engaging and interacting with everyone.
Love that. Thank you so much, Utkarsh. Prajakta, hi.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi,
So
do you
this is
wanna...
Prajakta and yes, I think Sakshi was saying something.
No, I think my voice is delayed. Go ahead, give your introductions.
Okay, so this is Prajakta and Swarali invited me to this meeting. I'm hoping that I might learn something new. So we were together for our graduation and then she went to UK and I completed my master's in clinical psychology from Ferguson itself. Right now I'm working as a counselor and remedial teacher at I teach schools. It is similar to Teach for India. So really happy to be here. Looking forward to know all of you and learn something new today.
That's pressure. um, and anybody else who wants to speak up and is new here?
Yeah, hello. Hi everyone. I am Juhi
Hey,
and
you are not new, Juhi. Come on.
You're not new. This is not for
Sakshi
you
said
two.
new.
we're only for new people to introduce. I
Wait.
thought we were introducing ourselves to
Yes.
new people also.
Do it. Stop it.
Come back with
You are
come back.
furniture now.
Then it will be today introduction round only.
Exactly. Okay, let's start because I feel like the energy is quite right now, and we'll get to introductions and we will know what everybody does in a second. So today's topic and the reason why everybody is here is professional competitiveness. And by the name itself, it's not as encrypted as most of our other topics. It's very clear. It's about competitiveness in the professional space. The reason, and which is what I always like to share, the reason why this came up is there is this entire turbulence that we have been through together in the last year and before that. So when you join your career, it's a different turbulence. When you exit a career, it's a different turbulence. Then with the pandemic and things with personal life, and every point of life is a different turbulence, and it impacts your career no matter where you are and what you do. And every time you have to start proving yourself again and again. You're either with a new set of colleagues or out of your depth, or facing a new challenge, and every time it brings about competitiveness. Who are your colleagues? What are they doing? Why is it better for you? And over the last couple of months, this word, which I'm sure will come up today, imposter syndrome, has really it just keeps coming back to me. Like, people keep saying it, I keep saying it, I hear a lot of people saying it, and I traced it back to competitiveness. There are some elements of competitiveness in this word that we use. Now, I was talking to a colleague here and discussing about this imposter syndrome, and she shared something with me that I want to share with you all today, but I'm going to reserve it for now. And that is the reason I wanted to start with competitiveness. So we know what it is. How are we dealing with it? Is it really important? Because there are both sides. And as psychologists, and because we love research, we're going to do both sides. So why is it important? Why is it not important? And how do you all deal with it? And the reason I wanted your colleagues to be here is because they hold you accountable then. So I don't want to be holding you accountable for every action that we take out of glass half full. It's not sustainable. Your colleagues should be holding you accountable because they are who you compete with. So because we are all psychologists, in a certain level, we are all competing with each other. It's a very small space, very niche. We're all psychologists. We only have as much market share. So in a way, we are all competing with each other. So we'll hold each other accountable, make sure we all go through this life without feeling the pressure of being extremely competitive and all those unresolved feelings that come with it. But so will your colleagues. So that is the aim today, that we hold each other accountable, but then also discuss why this is important and how we can manifest and work around it. So anybody who has any initial thoughts, and everybody who is new here, I know you guys have watched our videos, but there is no speaker kind of thing here. So everybody is free to sort of unmute, just be respectful to each other. This is recorded, so it's going to go on camera. So keep it succinct and feel free to have a more discursive, more candid conversation. And I'm going to keep drinking, so feel free to do the same thing. Anybody who has initial thoughts on it? Yeah, Chaitanya, go.
Yeah. So I'd like to start by saying that that there's a saying called excess of everything is bad. So healthy competition is good, in my opinion, but when healthy competition takes a negative, shapes up in a negative manner, that is something unfavorable. So I think why this competition has occurred so much, especially in the Indian context, is because I feel the demand is more, and I would say supply is less, in the sense that the population of the country is so much, and every time everyone wants best for themselves. So that is one reason I feel. Another reason which I feel is like there's a saying called charity begins at home. So right from the beginning we have been taught that you should learn how to collaborate, you should learn how to share, but at the same time we have been taught that you have to always do best, and life is a race, all those stuff. And always we have been like compared, Sharma ji ka beta, Verma ji ka beta. So I think that is something that has been instilled within us right from our childhood. And as a result, when something which we imbibe during our childhood, it becomes a habit, and then it is something that is very difficult to eradicate immediately. So it takes time. So I would say that if these things are like taken care of, especially about the way our mental conditioning is being brought up, the value systems that is being given to us by our parents, I think that would like resolve this problem of competition to a certain extent, if not completely eradicated. And yeah, parental support is also essential, because I feel at the end of the day, in life, every individual has his or her own journey. So yeah.
Interesting point, Chetan, and so many questions that arrive to me from that. One of that I've popped in the chat is, what is healthy competition though? What is that line where we say, oh, this was good, but you did that to me and that wasn't healthy? Like, what is that line? How arbitrary is that? Yeah, Shonali, go for it.
So I think thanks, Chaitanya, for setting the context very rightly for this discussion. One thing I really liked what you said is the way we are conditioned since our childhood, how the parenting has been done, because the value system is the core of a personality, which is somewhere always there in the inner conscious, or you can say that unconsciousness. In case we develop ourselves, we move to different world, different areas, scenarios, work life, student life, every scenario could be different. And we also try to change our personalities. A lot of us even don't accept the core personality of ourselves. They don't even know what we exactly look like or how do we behave. So, but that definitely, that inherent core value system remains with us. And that gets triggered when you are put up in a situation, which is, again, Sakshi asked this question, is the competition healthy or not? So what is that situation? Is it healthy? Is it a good competition? Is it a bad competition? But more important than calling out a competition healthy or not healthy is how do we deal with it? How are we perceiving that competition, how are we, thinking that that competition would actually impact us or not impact us? So dealing with that competition is very, very important, and that's the technique that we should all, look towards developing in ourselves. With again, through learning or through talking to your mentors or confidant, or with, of course, with time and experience. So I feel competition is everywhere, and we've seen this since our school days, college time, workplace. But there are certain ways to deal that competition. How do you, kind of create that line within you and your success when that competition is really impacting you or affecting your brain? So as we talk about how do we manage stress situation, so competition can impact in any way. So that perception management is really important, and I think it will be great to hear out you all that how do we really deal with those kind of situation scenarios, and do not let ourselves impacted, do not let our work impacted, or say our, I feel that the best way to tackle it, compete with yourself, compete within yourself, rather than thinking and considering people around you and getting stressed at a situation that, that colleague of mine is, trying to put me down or taking my points and putting it across the table, not even letting me speak. So that will create a stress for sure. So I think a lot of points, a lot of things coming to my mind, but I would love to hear you all talking about or around this.
Thanks, Jonali. I think so. Loads there, and a lot of points that I've jotted down. So like I said, so one of the first things that comes to mind is what is healthy competition and how do you define it? Because like you were mentioning, like they don't even let you speak, don't let you present. Is that healthy, or how do you perceive healthy competition? And again, something that came to mind is, do you see competition as threat, or do you see that as a challenge? And your personality, like you said, will help you determine that, and the way you see it is how you will deal with it. And that might affect if you're looking at it as stressful, as healthy, or as not stressful, or as unhealthy. And the second thing I jotted down, which I think is really, really important, Chaitanya, what you mentioned, our values. So our culture teaches us to be collaborative, to work with each other. Our environment requires us to be competitive. So as much as we want to compete with ourselves, it's not possible. We're social beings. We work with colleagues. We want to get ahead. There's a lot of population. So our society is teaching us to be competitive. Our values are teaching us be collaborative, work with each other. So is there a conflict there? Have you felt that?
I think
Julie,
I'll
you were saying
jump in.
something.
Yeah. I think competition, it really depends on the lens you're viewing it from. When you are in a team setup, for instance, if I'm working in a team, I have like 5 people, then I am competing against a different team. So in my team, I'm collaborating, but I'm competing with a different team, right? And now if we look at it, now bring the lens even wider. So if you look at organization, for instance, if I'm working with one organization, I have to work together as an organization, and then I'm competing with another organization. So it really depends on your perception. It really depends on your point of view, that where do you stand in terms of competition. But generally, when I think of competition, like the first idea or thought that comes to my mind is not very positive. Like competition does not sound a very positive thing to me. And I'm reminded of quotes like, go big or go home, or, winning is not everything. It is the only thing. Or one of the most popular dialogues or quotes, which was also used in the film Three Idiots by that professor played by Baman Irani, when he says, nobody ever remembers anybody who finished second at anything. वो बोलता है कि moon पे who is the first person who landed on moon? Okay, people say Neil Armstrong, और वो बोलते हैं who is the second person? We don't know. So nobody remembers the second person. So I feel this is a very extreme and very exclusive language. And I think it's time, like we are in the 21st century and it's the 4th industrial revolution. And I think time has come, we ask ourselves, if our collective obsession with being the best or whatever that is, maybe produces larger social problems that we are not aware of, right? And now don't get me wrong, I mean, there is a lot of value in competition, sometimes at least in the short term, and I think it could be a good means of self improvement. If I think I'm pretty good at something and I see somebody else doing it better, all right, that person and I are going to interact somehow and maybe even compete against each other, and by that model I might use that other person as a means of individual improvement for me. And in fact, we all can, think of various examples where competition does in fact work. But there is an underlying assumption to the competitive ethic that I think needs some critical analysis. The idea that the most effective means of making the most of human potential is by putting people against each other, to me that seems counterintuitive. This obsession with being the best, or that winning or losing, or winning at the cost of somebody else losing, this leads to a very hyper competitive state, which I think has an element of dehumanization, for the lack of a better word.
Just to
Chaitanya,
add,
I'm just gonna ask Gurleen to clarify a point for us. Gurleen, you said it might lead to bigger social issues. What kind of issues does it lead to? Do you have any example on that?
Yeah, exactly. So this the whole culture of us versus them. So when I'm saying, like, in an organization, right, I'm working in so and so team and I'm competing against another team. So if the environment is so hyper competitive, then I will be forced to win at the cost of making the other person lose. So I will try not to give information to the other team so that I win. So that causes a lot of problems in a social context. Relationships gets ruined. There is lack of collaboration. There is more of knowledge hoarding, which does not really help anyone, especially in the 21st century. We are hyper connected, and I think collaborative competition is the new future, I believe.
Gurleen, do you think in every scenario it happens that we would always like to, hide information just to win that battle? I little differ here, because competition is also, it also creates a challenging environment for a lot of groups and individuals. They really charge them up to be successful or to perform very well. Yeah, of course, it's in the mindset and head. Again, going back to what Chaitanya said, that the kind of conditioning that has been happened in the childhood, the kind of family environment and the background that we have been brought up, it depends a lot on that. So if I say a child who's grown up in an environment where every time, like you said, they start comparing the numbers between Varma, between Sharma's kid and all those things, if that is happening, for sure competition becomes a threat in the mind of that child, and as he or she grows up, it remains. But I think parents who have encouraged their kids being participative more than winning that battle, I think competition has definitely that entire concept of competition has proved to be very challenging and performing. At least for myself, I can pick up many examples from my childhood. So I have been into varied fields in my childhood. I was not, I'll not say I was a 90% or an 80% scorer all the time. I was an average student, but my parents have never bothered me on getting a first rank or a second rank. But my father only said one thing, that I want you to even learn music because that's one of your passion. I want you to be in sports because I feel that will inculcate that sportsmanship spirit to fight a battle or to participate in a competition. I would love you to learn, art because you could sketch for sure. So he has pushed me through all those fields around me, like the extracurricular activities. And he just said, maintain a balance between your academic career and your passion. If you can do that, I'll put you through any academy that you want to. So I have done music, dramatics, traveling, sports, whatnot, everything. But that environment has created me such that competition has always helped me succeed, or has not overpowered my mind that, okay, because of competition, I'll be stressed out, or I'll not perform, or maybe I'll not share information because the other team would win. Rather, I would like to be more, pally or friend to my competitor, so that we can do a healthy competition. Coming back to Sakshi, your question.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, while you were saying that why don't you share a specific example from professional life? So you've shared obviously about your childhood and how competition wasn't fostered in a way that naturally is. How do you think has it helped you deal with competition in organizations? So let's really talk about professional competition now.
Sure. So Sakshi, I have worked with, I have started my career with manufacturing organization. Then which had a very structured and a very bureaucratic environment. Then I moved to an industry which was fashion and retail, completely opposite. So the varied, I've spent a lot of time in even manufacturing and with fashion and retail also, and then moved into consulting. So in the professional environment, we had colleagues, and specifically talking about manufacturing, we just do not have colleagues, but we had other project leads who would, kind of put you into a stress situation and would like to test your patience, that will you be able to face this challenge and succeed. So I'll tell you one example from my past. So I was working on a policy. It's rather, an initiative of rewards and recognition. So we were designing it for the first time for one of the boiler unit of Larsen and Toubro from Power. So it was you can say the base was very large, the base was very large. So it was very difficult for us, and it took a lot of time to test and analyze that this will work or that will not work. And more than that, every time, we had definitely that challenge of competition within other business units who were working very closely with us. Rather, Gurleen will very, nicely connect, because she was that time working with the other business unit, with the other HR team, and we used to sit together. But that team was working on a different concept. This team was working on a different concept, but their ulterior vision was again people development, or say organization development. But that, again, I could have taken a threat from that team, that team would succeed and build up a very nice, very powerful and a strong initiative. But that never happened. We always brainstormed together. In fact, the female who was leading the L&D OD function, she's again a very, very close friend of mine. So she was also in the same profile. I was also in the same profile, but we always discussed, brainstormed, and we somehow came out with such beautiful ideas which would work differently in our scenarios to its best. It took 6 months for me to implement that framework, just because there are so many layers in L&T, and we have to take approvals. We have to present every time. One of the committee would said yes, the other committee said no. It was like a round of presentations and discussions, but finally we could succeed in implementing that R&R policy and framework for that unit. So that was that actually that entire environment of competition really helped me to take that entire initiative as a challenge and complete it, and make it one of the success of my performance objectives.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, Sonali, and obviously interesting insights there. Does anybody have, and again, pointing everybody's attention to time, so we have 15 minutes left. Anybody has a specific professional example of competitiveness? So bring out, what was the situation and how you dealt with that, and how does that relate? Vikalp, are you raising your hand?
Yeah, I was raising my hand. So with all the pointers which I have heard from everyone, one question which always comes to my mind is, why do we need competition? Why there is a need of competition when you're working together as a team, when you're working together on a project as a team, why there is so much of competition within to prove your point to the management that I did this work before than he or she or somebody else did it. To an extent, what happens in professional setup, what I have seen or what I have been through, I have a team of 5 people with me right now, and they're working together on a project. Now, one of them is quite how do I put it? He has a knack of putting across to the HOD on his own that I'm doing this on individual window. While the other team members, they are not that much open with that HOD, and they're not sending him messages directly. So what has happened? He has already been promoted once before turn, since he has some closeness, and most of the decisions what we take now, he is also part of it. Whereas the rest of the 4 members, they're also working equally well, but they do not get that opportunity. Now, this has disrupted the harmony of my team. 1, 2. There is a question mark on me also from the team members that why you cannot control him. I mean, why you're giving him so much liberty? But that is beyond my control, because the organization structure is such that you can directly bypass anybody and you can talk to your HODs anytime. I can talk to my CEO anytime. Nobody will stop me. So that's the organization structure. 3, this type of competition create rivalries. And when rivalries happen like this, they are bound. I mean, they will feel happy if somebody fails. Rather than they will feel happy that somebody is succeeding, they will feel happy if somebody fails. And when somebody fails and you are feeling happy, that is the final nail in the coffin of working together as a team. So in corporate style, or if I say in my in previous companies, there was this setup that you are working together and you have to cross department work was there with manager. But somewhere, I don't know, this competition feeling is something which I always hope should not be there. Why should not be? One, I have lost my friends because of this. Not because that I am at a well-off position right now, or maybe, but from college time there was this competition that who will have a good job, who will have good salary and everything. And slowly over a period of time, all those people, they are now in different directions. My friend who is since college with me, he is not happy with the way I am working in my company, because the kind of respect or the kind of job title or whatever, he feels that I am earning more than him. So there is a sense of jealousy in that. I never had that jealousy with anyone, that if you are, I mean, that's because you are entitled to what you are. If you are earning good, that's your capability, your luck, something, whatever you want to name it. But these competition things, they often end up into rivalries. And I have seen in majority of my teams, there is internal rivalries happening. So they're trying to prove a point that I am better than him or her, but losing out on the biggest part of team bonding. On facial point, yes, it would be that we are together as a team, but this topic I have been, it quietly disturbs me, because I have lost quite good number of friends for this. In office also, there is a lot of tension which keeps on happening. So generally, I avoid competition part. Even now, when there is this reward and recognition which happens in our organization, and somebody asks me, who would you like to nominate from your team on a project? Obviously, being a team leader, I would be there, but I keep my name away from it. I don't like to, highlight my name in any of the projects or something which is happening. My job is that the project should run seamlessly. It should bring out the results for the organization. Whether my name is there on the forefront or not, it doesn't matter to me. So that is how I see it. So competition for me is, if I have to compete, I will compete with my own self. How I can be a better than what I was yesterday, but not with others, because their situations, their scenarios are different than me.
That is an interesting point, Vikalp, that you compete with yourself, but I've always found that that's difficult to say or difficult to do. So Juhi and Utkarsh, yeah, go. Juhi, go first.
So this whole, just being the devil's advocate here, when you say you're competing against yourself, that agar tum ek hi bhaagne wale, if you're the only one running the race, you will obviously win. right? Winning and losing is always in comparison to someone else. So as good as it sounds that I am doing what I'm capable of and I am living to my best full potential, at the same time, you have to see your relatability with other people also. And I think most of the time competition becomes unhealthy because we allow it to become so. Till a certain level, competition can fuel you to perform even better. And there is such a thing as healthy competition, but it's only when we allow it to overpower other things and just take over all our abilities and our senses and everything. I think that's when it becomes a problem because then you are causing stress to yourself and to people around you. So,
But that, yeah.
if everything is done in moderation, I think it's important to have competition. I really believe so because you can be running, like I said, running a single person running the race, और तुम तो जीतोगे ही ना, कभी ना कभी तो तुम end तक पहुंच ही जाओगे. But to see that, okay, and I understand one thing very clearly that when your self-esteem doesn't come from putting people down, that's when you're in a healthy competitive space. If your boost is coming from अरे मैंने 10 लोगों को हराया नीचा दिखाया, then there's something wrong with you. So I don't know. This is what I have.
I agree with your point, Juhi, but the problem is that when the management in an organization, if they try to pit you against each other, even when you do not want to, then how do you put it across? See, competition, fine, it should be there. And how I compete with myself, that there are projects which are being handled by different managers. So when I say I want to be better than myself, I have a competition with myself. So the project which I was handling earlier and now what I'm handling right now, I have to prove myself that yes, the work which I did then, I can do better than that one right now. So in that regard, I am competing myself. But when management tries to pit in against each other, two managers against each other, that we will see who does best, and then basis on it, your appraisals and your bonus and everything is decided, then it becomes a war-like situation. That no matter what happens, I have to prove that yes, I am doing better than the other person, and then they will go to any extent. And that's how it also depends upon the management how they are fitting it.
It also depends on you as a person, right? That how much importance do you give the management? How much power do you give other people over yourself? At the end of the day, your actions are your own. So if you choose not to be a part of it, you don't be a part of it. It takes guts to do that.
See, I can control myself, but how can I control the other person?
So if you are you are 50% of the equation, right? If two people are being told to compete against each other, if you say, I'm not gonna fall for this, like I'm not doing this, right? You take a stand and then you kind of stick with it. It's easier said than done. I understand that.
See, in our organization where I'm coming from, just one line. In our organization where I'm coming from, if you do not be a part of this, every month you are humiliated in front of the entire core membership. That is a bigger blow rather than doing this. So it's like the management thing, you have to do it. That the Chinese management always says that competition should be there every time. And for competition, you have to go to any extent. That's their mindset.
Okay.
Plenty of
Utkarsh, you're burning to say something.
Yeah.
Go
plenty
for it.
Interesting, conflicting thoughts, which I'm really enjoying. But what I was agreeing with Vikalp was that the competition can be with self. And why I say that, Juhi, is that, I mean, is the race all our perception, or is it really a race? I mean, ultimately, we'll all end right somewhere, whether we end at the CEO spot or at the deathbed or as a middle management or as the junior most person in the organization. We'll end somewhere. If now my values serve me well, and my values tell me that competition is not important, how I express my values like excellence, discipline, and so on and so forth. If I'm doing that really right, then does the race even matter? That's my question. And why I say that from my life example is, I started my life as a physiotherapist for 8 years, practicing as a therapist. Then I moved to filming. Then I moved to sales and marketing. And now I'm founded my own company. And every time the value that was driving me was freedom of expression, freedom of creation. People doubted me because they were saying, like, what is wrong with you? You're throwing away your master's in orthopedics and now going into some like filming. What is wrong with you? But that's my value, right? And I stood true to my value. So if you ask me right now, if I die right now, if it's the dead end now, I'll be happy, right? and this was not even a race. So that's point one. On the second point, when we were speaking about how our parents have inculcated these values in us, the question is, I mean, I have two sons, 10 and 7. I don't know what's your status on that one, all of us. But to me, I want to tell them that you have to get better each day, but don't start to get so competitive with others that you want to push them down, even when you're playing basketball or when you're playing cricket. If it's a fair game, be happy about that game. So that values conversation is happening right now. And then the final point I want to make is that I used to feel like it's us versus them, it's me versus we, and so on and so forth. Till I heard something by Dan Siegel. He's a eminent professor, and what he shared was it's a movie consciousness, that you can match the me and the we and create a movie where you want to thrive because you care about your end product, you care about your growth, but then you'll not bring others down. So can we all develop that? And it'll be very difficult because organization, as Vikalp is saying, if a Chinese person is saying that, dude, where is your competition? Why aren't you selling enough of XYZ? Then you'll feel bad about that. But maybe Vikalp, you're the starting point in the organization. Maybe you're the change maker. So that these three are my thoughts.
I have to protect my job also in that case.
Maybe you'll get a better job, sir. I mean, I am to that point line crazy about things. If you cannot hold me true to my values, then keep your job to yourself. I'll find a better job.
See,
the rebellious attitude, I agree with Vikalp. So you don't have to do that, sir.
I completely agree with you that, and also with all the points till now, that competition should be there. It should not, that life should not be without any competition. And I also agree with Juhi on that one, that there has to be competition to, to move ahead. So if you're dreaming something and you're looking at a dream and you have to fulfill it, then there is competition would be there in achieving that dream. So yes, competitions are good, but it should not be converted into a war-like situation. And that happens in corporate. That war-like situation is there.
Yeah, but because if you have a dream, I don't think like the two of us will have same dreams, or the 9 of us will have same dreams, right? Yeah. So we all have our own dreams. Let's just go out and fulfill those dreams. I mean, I could be completely ignorant to the corporate world because I've had only 1 8-year stint with one corporate where it was the MUI consciousness that led us. But yeah, that's based on my experience.
So the one point, like the way we are conditioned by families, by parents, similarly, people those are working in corporate from like 15, 16 years, they are conditioned by their managers on top of them, that how you have to compete, how you have to, win this. Literally, the words which are used in boardrooms, you have to win this battle at any cost.
Yeah.
Come on, how come you have battles on, business front? So yes, if you're putting it like that, then yes, so you are conditioned in that manner then.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing process which is happening and it will not stop. It's a non-ending process now.
Right. One final thought, but Vikalp, what are you doing to your team? Because you're the manager. What are you doing to your children if you have? So, I mean, that's the push that I want to put all of us into.
So, thankfully, I'm single right now, so I don't have children, so that I have to push them.
Lucky you.
And with
the pain is so evident, Utkarsh.
I hope your wife or kids are not watching this.
And especially in the work from home scenario.
Exactly.
I can totally feel the pain.
This is getting recorded. It's gonna be on YouTube forever. They're gonna grow up. They might end up watching this video. But I think okay, light has gone. Okay, this is it.
I think they'll enjoy Gurleen when they'll watch this.
Yeah, but I think I completely agree, Vikalp, because I'm not a very conventional manager in that way, and I've also been given a feedback in one of my previous jobs that, Gurleen, you need to be a better manager. You're more like, ally or a friend. You have to demonstrate managerial qualities. And I was like, okay, what are managerial qualities? Like pushing people, pitting them against each other, inducing healthy competition. They use the term healthy, but that
they don't mean it.
I can understand where this feedback is coming from, Gurleen.
Yeah.
Interesting point. Sorry, interesting point, Gurleen, because you said they say healthy battle, but they don't know what it is. So I think one of the reasons for today's discussion, one of the aim was understanding when somebody says healthy battle, what the hell do they mean? And if they don't know what it means, we can have at least a couple of points. So hopefully we have done that. The second thing I loved that Vikalp brought up was language. Language that the corporates use, like battle, and healthy competition, push them, profits, comparison, team comparisons, like these are the exact language that you should watch out for, because that just shows that that organization feeds off of you being competitive with each other. That's obviously a place where your mental health will suffer, or you will constantly feel under the pressure. It really depends on how you handle competition. You might handle it really well, and that's where you thrive. So look for those organizations. Or if you don't do it, because we all here can sit and talk about competition, but people, for example, in the same role, they face cutthroat competition. Like, I won't have a job tomorrow if I'm not competitive. So I think very, very important to first, what I do in terms of adverse impact, recognizing and dealing with it, is first realize, do I thrive in competition? Is that something that my working self needs? I work well in competitive settings. That's just me. But you have to realize, do you or do you not? And then think about, if I do I handle it well? How do I deal with it? What are my strategies? If I don't have any strategies in place, I would rather not go in a competitive situation. So I think it's like you said, Juhi, like it's a lot about, you know, taking ownership. So this is taking ownership, like realizing, do I deal with the competition? Do I have strategies in place? Do I need it for my professional career? For example, Utkarsh, for you, like it looks like you're very driven by your values and your dreams. So you chose a way where, you know, you can see that happening. For some of us, perhaps competition is the way to achieve those dreams, or our fields are very competitive. We can't just lose our interest and passion in our field, right? We have to still find strategies to deal with it. So I think strategies like conflict negotiation and conflict handling, persuasion, like learning these, it's just so basic, but you need to learn these things to handle that. I know, Chaitanya, you have something to add. I'm going to say we are over already. So giving you a minute, keep it succinct, and then we'll go to a close.
Sure. Thank you, Sakshi. So before we end the session, I just have to say three things. So Juhi, you talked about competition, the healthy competition. So it reminds me of a शेर by Ahmad Faraz that किसी को घर से निकलते ही मिल गई मंजिल, कोई उम्र भर हमारी तरह सफर में रहा. So we always will have that feeling कि no matter what, we want to have a competition amongst ourselves, but we will have that feeling कि यार competition कहीं ना कहीं तो रहेगा. Second quick point I want to tell you that in sports there is a saying called problem of plenty. So in the context of team scenario, problem of plenty is actually not a bad thing, but the key thing is that as long as you are communicating to your key players, or for that matter key team members, that okay, it's about the balance. So you know that is very important. It's not that, you know, we are like taking you away for a certain project, or we are not taking you. It's about the balance. When you have, you know, a problem of plenty, you have healthy competition and good competition. The last thing which I remember when I was hearing Gurleen, so Gurleen said that when she talks about competition, her perception is it is something on the negative side, that, you know, like winning is everything. I would say that, you know, while it's a fact that winner takes it all, but I remember MS Dhoni quoting these things, that while winning is important, but winning is not everything. At the end of the day, it is the process. The process, how you win, the process matters a lot rather than, you know, the outcome. So even if, you know, you actually have a goal, or you want to win you have that, you want to win something, you don't get it, that's okay. But as long as, you know, you have grown through the process, that's the key. Yeah, so that's how I like to end it.
Thank you so much, Chaitanya. That's an appropriate close. If this triggered any feelings or thoughts in you, definitely think about those and add those, because super important. Food for thought is much more important than having a 10-hour long discussion. Lets you be more creative. I will post some notes, but hopefully having your colleagues here put some perspective into how we see each other, how we think about competition, given in the same organization, or given that we are colleagues from the same field. And hopefully we can do something about it. At least we can define what healthy competition bloody hell means, because I'm sick of that word. Thank you so much, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers. I wish I could have pulled a drink, but I was just attending this meeting before another meeting just finished. So Cheers to this group, and thank you so much for such a healthy conversation. Again, I think what Sakshi said, how do we define it for ourselves?
Let us know.
All
And
right,
good luck,
guys.
and hopefully see all of you again. Good to see most of you.
Have a great weekend ahead, guys.
Have a
Everybody,
you
great
soon.
weekend.
thank you everyone.
Bye.
Anything
Bye bye.
coming soon.
Take care.
Goodbye. Take care.
Bye bye.